You are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's Notebook LM for deeper, more dynamic book analysis.
And today, we're diving into a topic that I have to admit sounds a little heavy.
A little. We're talking about duty. It just sounds like something you have to do.
Like chores or taxes.
Right.
But the essay we're looking at, from the Syntopicon by Mortimer Adler, treats it as this epic philosophical battleground.
Okay, we should probably clarify what the Syntopicon is first. It sounds like a transformer.
It's basically a master key for the great books of the Western world. Adler and his team mapped out 102 great ideas, like love, war, and yes, duty.
And this essay isn't just a definition, then?
Not at all. It's a map of the arguments. It shows how everyone from Plato to Freud wrestled with one core question, which Adler borrows from John Locke.
And that question is, why must a man keep his word?
That's the one. It seems simple, but your answer defines everything.
So how does Locke break it down? Where do the answers lead?
He says there are really only three paths, three great traditions of thought on this.
The three roots of obligation.
Exactly. The first is what he calls the Christian view. You keep your word because a superior lawgiver, God, commands it.
So the obligation is external, coming from the highest possible authority.
Right. Break your word. And you're not just being unreliable, you're sinning. The stakes are eternal.
Okay, divine command, that's one. What's the second?
The second is for a world without God. Locke calls it the Hobbist view, after Thomas Hobbes.
And in that view, I keep my word because
the Leviathan will punish you if you don't.
So I'm just afraid of going to jail.
Essentially, yes. It's obedience to civil power to avoid pain. Without that threat, society would just collapse into chaos.
But that feels more like risk management than morality.
Adler makes that exact point. He says if you slow down for a speed trap only because you see the police car, that isn't duty.
That's just prudence.
It's expediency. You're doing what's convenient to avoid a fine. It's a calculation, not an obligation.
Which leads us to the third view, the one Locke calls the old philosopher's answer.
He's talking about the ancients, Plato, Aristotle, the Stoics.
And their answer.
You keep your word, because to do otherwise would be beneath your dignity. It would be a violation of your own character.
So it's not about God or the police. It's about self-respect.
It's about not corrupting yourself. The damage is internal. Even if no one ever found out, you would know.
I really like that framework, but it brings up a huge question. What happens when no one is looking?
And that is the perfect entry into the battle between internal and external duty, between Hobbes and Plato.
This is the ring of Gyges. I love this.
It's a brilliant thought experiment from Plato's Republic. A shepherd finds a ring that can make him invisible.
Total freedom, no consequences.
And the challenge posed to Socrates is this. If a so-called just man had this ring, would he still do his duty? Or would he act just like the unjust man?
Stealing, cheating, getting away with anything he wanted.
The argument is that anyone would. That we only behave ourselves because we lack the power to do injustice safely.
Which is pure Hobbes. Duty is just a social leash. Take off the leash.
And the duty disappears. For Hobbes, before the state, there's no such thing as justice. It's an artificial concept we invent for survival.
But Socrates completely rejects that.
He does. He argues that justice is the health of the soul.
Meaning that when you do something unjust, even in secret, you're poisoning your own mind.
You're creating chaos within yourself. The damage is internal, and it's inescapable because you have to live with yourself.
Okay, so that's a clear divide. Duty is either outside pressure or inner health.
But then Aristotle comes in and adds a really important layer. He says we need to be more specific.
How so?
He separates personal virtues from strict duty. For Aristotle, duty is almost exclusively about justice.
And justice is always about how we treat other people.
Right. You might want to be courageous for your own sake to live a better life, but you have a duty to be fair to your neighbor.
So, under Aristotle's view, I don't really have a duty to myself. If I just want to be lazy and unhealthy, that's my business.
It's foolish, and you're failing to achieve your potential. But it's not unjust, because you're not harming someone else.
But that changes when we get to Aquinas in the Middle Ages. He seems to blend the philosophical with the religious.
He does. For Aquinas, duty is our participation in God's eternal law through what he calls natural law. And that leads to a fascinating idea.
The duty to inquire.
Yes. This one really stands out. Aquinas argues God gave human beings minds for a purpose, to seek and know the truth.
So, not using your mind is a moral failure.
It's a violation of natural law.
Yeah.
If you have the capacity to learn, and you choose ignorance out of laziness or indifference, you are failing in your duty.
That's an incredible standard. It means thinking isn't just a hobby.
It's a fundamental obligation.
It definitely requires a certain mindfulness, an effort to engage.
It certainly does.
Which, I should mention, is the whole point of our channel, Mindful Moments. We offer AI book analyses and critiques designed to do just that, to inspire that kind of reflection and rational thought.
It's a perfect tool for anyone trying to fulfill their duty to inquire.
Exactly. So if this is sparking your curiosity, check out Mindful Moments on YouTube. But now we have to get to the philosopher who takes duty to its most extreme.
We have to talk about Immanuel Kant.
Kant. He basically builds the entire system of morality on duty alone.
He does. He strips away God, he strips away fear of punishment, and he places the source of duty squarely inside human reason itself.
He calls it the categorical imperative. Let's try to break that down.
Categorical just means absolute, no exceptions. Imperative means a command. The test is, act only on that maxim you can will to become a universal law.
So before I do something, I have to ask myself, what if everyone did this?
Precisely. If I lie to get a loan, I have to ask, what if everyone lied to get loans?
The entire system of trust would collapse. There would be no more loans.
So you can't do it. You can't make an exception for yourself. But here's where Kant gets really strict.
It's not enough to do the right thing.
No. For an act to have true moral worth, it must be done from the motive of duty, and duty alone.
So if I help a friend move because I like them and it feels good to help?
Kant would say that's nice, but it has no real moral content.
Seriously.
For him, the moral sublimity comes when you help your friend, even though you're exhausted, and you'd rather be doing anything else, but you do it simply because it is your duty.
Sounds awful. It completely separates duty from happiness.
He thinks feelings are unreliable. They come and go. Duty has to be a rock, based on pure reason, not on whether it makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
Which sets up this huge conflict in ethics. The pursuit of happiness versus the demands of duty.
Right. Do we have to choose between being good and being happy?
Is there any middle ground?
The essay offers a couple of paths toward reconciliation. One is from John Stuart Mill, the utilitarian.
His view is that we are social creatures.
Yes, we have a natural desire to be in harmony with our fellow human beings. So doing our duty acting for the common good actually becomes a source of our own happiness.
So Mill says it's okay for them to overlap.
And Aquinas suggests something similar. He says God created both our desire for happiness and the moral law. Ultimately, they can't be in conflict.
He thinks true happiness actually requires the discipline of duty.
They should run on parallel tracks. But the essay doesn't end there. It takes a much darker turn.
Because up to now, we've assumed duty is a clear guide. But it's not always so simple.
Sometimes duty conflicts with duty. The choice isn't between right and wrong, but between two different rights.
And the classic example is Sophocles' tragedy, Antigone.
Exactly. Antigone's duty to the gods and her family is to bury her dead brother.
But the king, Creon, has forbidden it. His duty is to the state, to punish a traitor.
So both are acting from a powerful sense of duty.
And the result is absolute disaster for everyone. It shows that duty can be a trap.
And just when you think it's bleak enough, the essay brings in Freud.
This is where things get really modern and psychological. Freud looks at this noble idea of conscience or duty.
And he says, what if it's just your superego?
Which is not the voice of God or universal reason.
No. For Freud, it's the voice of your father or society, internalized in your head. It's an authority figure you've absorbed.
And it can become a tyrant.
He argues an overdeveloped sense of duty isn't heroism, it's neurosis, it's a pathology. You deny all your natural instincts to appease this inner critic.
So my moral compass might just be a form of self-punishment.
It's a devastating critique. It forces us to ask where our sense of duty is really coming from, reason or repression.
Before we close, we have to talk about how this all plays out in politics.
It's critical. The essay makes it clear that rights and duties are two sides of the same coin.
To claim a right for yourself is to place a duty on someone else.
If you have a right to property, I have a duty not to steal it. And this applies to governments.
If a ruler has no duties, if they are above the law,
then the people have no rights. That is the definition of slavery.
So a constitution is essentially a list of duties for the government.
Exactly. An office holder is a servant bound by the duties of that office. That's what protects freedom.
So let's bring it all back. We started with, why keep your word? And the answers range from Hobbes' fearful subject to Kant's rational citizen to Freud's neurotic patient.
It's quite a journey. And it leaves us with a paradox about freedom.
We tend to think of duty as the opposite of freedom. I'm free when I can do whatever I want.
But Kant and the ancient philosophers would say that's not freedom at all. That's just being a slave to your impulses.
Just a sophisticated animal following its appetites.
They would argue that true freedom is the ability to govern yourself, to impose a duty on yourself based on reason, and to follow it even when it's hard.
The freedom to say no to your immediate desires.
Perhaps true freedom is found not in escaping duty, but in mastering it.
That's a powerful final thought. Is duty a cage, or is it the very framework that allows us to stand tall?
A question to take with you.
Click the link on screen for more on this and other essay subjects. Subscribe, share, purchase via link, and think rationally.
See the many genre-based book podcasts at Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go.